1969, a time that saw the nation engulfed in a Cold War with the Soviet Union, a hot war in Vietnam, and a domestic war over civil rights. That domestic conflict included battles for a fair share of the economic pie. It was against this backdrop that several minority contractors met in Oakland, California to form strategies aimed at getting a bigger slice of the construction pie.
Developed a lot of single-family residences, duplexes, fourplexes, whatever. But we could never get any schoolwork, where all of the money was then.
They were only getting less than 1% of the total construction dollar. And yet we had minority in the country approximately 25 to 30%.
That 1969 meeting in Oakland resulted in the formation of the National Association of Minority Contractors, or Namc, a nonprofit trade association dedicated to addressing the needs and concerns of minority contractors. Those attending the initial meeting of Namc came from diverse backgrounds, but all faced the same problem: discrimination.
It did not only apply to black or non-white, Pacific Islanders, Mexican American, Japanese, Chinese.
The early days of Namc were filled with seminars, workshops, and training sessions, all geared toward improving the education and skill level of minority contractors. That's because founder Ray Dones felt that education and training would work better than politics in achieving the association's long-term goals.
He got some grief on that. People really sort of wanted to be like AGC, and they wanted an trade association. And he wanted an educational association. So we got a 501c3 so foundation money could come in. And when we did stuff with the government, they felt a little better because we were educational.
But political action would be necessary, and that was made easier with the move of Namc's headquarters to Washington, D.C.
No bills in the early days that went before Congress or any type of highway legislation or any legislation that affected construction industry. Namc was consulted as far as our position on these issues.
Education and training coupled with political advocacy helped achieve the goal of access to governmental projects.
You need access. You can have the best employees and the best company in the world. If you don't have access to the work, if you don't have the work, it's not going to happen.
Move from not only within the public sector, but to begin to get some of the commercial work.
This was done through the formation of partnerships with those in the private sector who realized that there was a need for diversity in the construction industry.
We can't do this alone. We can't have involvement in the mainstream without the acceptance of mainstream inviting us in. All we need as contractors is a chance to participate. Given that opportunity, we can shine.
And the contractors that have the work are the major construction companies that can come to Namc and talk to the Namc contractors, build again a network and trust.
Our commitment to bettering or creating opportunities for minority vendors in general, Namc's been key in that. They've allowed us they've helped us not only to find builders that were qualified, but others that are associated with the building trade that we could eventually do business with.
The early work of the pioneers has resulted in an organization that now has chapters operating in 49 states, the District of Columbia, and the Virgin Islands. But Namc recognizes that there are still challenges that continue to be met through advocacy, education, and training.
In each individual state, we have educational workshops, and some of the contractors might be, for instance, they might need help with bidding, they might need help with business. So we normally set up some type of classes to assist them to make sure that they have their business growing at all points.
So when you have an organization like a Namc that can come in with businesses who are proven performers in brain capacity, and then if we can partner them with firms who don't have that capacity, it's a win-win.
That has resulted in growth for Namc members large and small.
Showed me who the players were, coached me and mentored me in different areas that I needed help in.
What Namc has brought to ADT construction is the ability to interface with the right people.
Through Namc, we've been able to develop relationships with owners that have a true interest in working with minority contractors and suppliers on their construction projects. For example, our company has opened up an office in Las Vegas to help pursue opportunities that came because of Namc.
It provides the access that you wouldn't get otherwise if you're just a minority company trying to knock on some doors. Those doors would be almost impossible to reach, much less to knock and then to open.
Plus, partners continue to come on board to form win-win relationships with Namc.
And for us not to be able to be engaged with the diverse community, both from a construction, supplier arm, vendor arm, and get them involved right from the start of the construction throughout the operation, our customer base is going to falter because of that. So we believe in it.
Namc is an association that really helps a corporation get their arms around what's going on, because a lot of times you can't do it on your own. You have to be able to have access to resources, and Namc definitely gives a corporation that resource.
Namc also stands ready to face special challenges as they appear. That was the case in the wake of Hurricane Katrina.
NAMC was first on the scene as a trade association to meet with the governors of Mississippi and Louisiana and Alabama to make sure that with all the vast money and all the efforts that would be required as far as the rebuilding, along with the fact that so many of our members were devastated by the hurricane, where they virtually had to drive 200 or 300 miles just to be able to come to a business that was really no longer there. So we felt that it was so important that we were very active in this process and with a special eye as far as to assist our members with their needs beyond just trying to get contracts.
Namc is also working with private organizations such as New Orleans Music Hall of Fame.
We're talking about building a new community. Matter of fact, we're talking about building a downtown. And what that would entail, a 1,500-room hotel, retail, restaurant, nightclub, music club, recording studio. The historical piece is just one component of it.
Namc is preparing for the future in a number of ways. One of the more recent is international in flavor, entering into a memorandum of understanding with the U.S.-India Chamber of Commerce.
India has 1 billion plus people and mostly 400 to 500 million Indians that are under the age of 25. So it's a young emerging India that can learn from our Contractors Association as well as we can learn from them.
Another new program involves the formation of incubators for contractors.
The most successful of our contractors at this point are commercial contractors. So we have to put some effort into developing these residential contractors to bring them up to a different level. With the commercial contractors, we also need to do a lot of work to be able to bring them up to the bonding capacity and capability. So within the framework of these incubators, we'll have a number of training programs that will go on in there in an effort to take these companies to the next level.
Namc is also instituting efforts to provide easier access to capital.
These financial products can be at or below traditional thrift rates. So you don't have to go to a secondary market like factoring or hard money lending. You can have a facility through your organization that gets you bank financing, basically.
Namc's leaders are fond of saying that they are standing on the shoulders of the founders and their vision. They feel that the vision is being fulfilled today, but much work remains to be done so that the conditions that were prevalent nearly 40 years ago will be erased. One of the best ways to do that is to bring more minority contractors into the fold so that they can feel the full effect of Namc's main benefit.
Adversity can engulf the individual, but not the group. If you are a part of the group, it weakens the adversity that you may have as an individual.
The National Association of Minority Contractors, or Namc, a nonprofit trade association dedicated to addressing the needs and concerns of minority contractors.